just because I was so focused on the agency, really didn't do any sort of posting at all. But hey, now I'm back to it, man. So I appreciate the kind words.
That's awesome. So what's your agency's name now? Let's see.
So prior, my first agency was all doing. We focused on like video creation and like meta ads and a little bit of Google ads for e-commerce brands. Now I'm working directly with other agency owners who want to, well, basically sign bigger clients for longer periods of time. What grew us really quickly was I got really good at closing deals for 10, 15, 20K a month. And so now I want to focus primarily on helping other agency owners who want to stop chasing little retainers for 3 grand a month and start, closing the big boys.
So all of these large deals, are you doing them retainer too, like biggest companies, or is it more
Yeah,
like performance
usually.
based?
Yeah, the well, it depends. It depends on like what the service that you sell is. And so typically, what I recommend, or usually I'll just what I did is we have an introductory offer. So we would sell one set package, like a product size offer. Ours specifically was a creation of videos for your ads as well as photos that went with those ads. It's like 10 grand. Sell that one time, and then upsell into long term recurring. Sometimes flat fee, sometimes flat fee plus performance. I like performance better just because obviously that can scale. But it
Yeah.
depends on what you sell.
Mhm. So okay, yeah, that's what I was curious about. So interesting. By the way, I'm going to the garage because I'm just getting home. So if I lose reception, I'll be back online in a
No,
second.
you're good, man. Tell me about your agency and what you do.
But yeah,
I'll lose you there for a sec.
so I'm in the real
All
estate
right,
space, real estate
everything.
agents,
Yeah, everything
and
you
my
said.
oh,
If
I
you
love
said
that.
anything, cut out.
Yeah, no worries. So basically, I was just
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I can hear you.
saying that I work. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, okay, so you know what? To be respectful of your time, give me. I'm just gonna mute myself for 2 minutes while I get upstairs.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna get in the elevator and I'm just gonna get lost, and I want to make sure that I'm focused on
No
this. Give me
worries, man.
one sec, bro.
Yeah, no worries.
Hey, brother, I'm back.
What's up?
Hey, man. So finally upstairs. Sorry about that. But
No, you're good, man.
yeah. So I'm just getting sales here. But what I was saying is, so I do marketing, right, lead gen, and everything for realtors, real estate agents.
Yep.
I do have a couple of good seller clients, and my offer is a little bit broad. So I'm not only running ads for them, but we're also doing a bunch of other stuff. So doing some helping them with some branding here and there, building them websites to increase the initial value proposition and amount of money they're willing to spend up front. Uh, so we're helping them with the high level stuff. We're making sure that they have, like all that good stuff. So it's kind of like more all round offer, not just running ads.
Yeah.
And the offer, so right now, revenue wise and everything, I've been fluctuating a lot, to be honest with you. I'm not gonna hold anything back. So I appreciate your feedback. So I'm just gonna humble myself here and saying that I have not been consistent in my revenue
Okay.
production at all. So
Sure.
the offer, the way that it's working is mostly pay once 5K to start, and then it's 25% performance fee on however much we get them. So ROAS basically. So because this is real estate and these are large deals, normally the agents that we work with, we want to make sure that they're spending at least $5,000 a month with us.
Sure.
So does that make sense so far?
Yeah, I think so. You were cutting in and out a little bit. What I heard was that you primarily work with real estate agents. It's ads for getting leads, I would imagine, and then also helping them with their like organic traffic, organic followers, that type of stuff. You charge 5K up front and then a 25% performance fee. Did I hear that correctly?
Yes, the only thing that I would adjust there is that we do not do on the same offer the social media management like the organic stuff.
Okay,
It's mostly
sure.
in everything. Now, the biggest thing with my revenues, I don't have any recurring yet
Okay,
as of now because it's only more for like the new sales. And my consistency in the delivery has been quite flaky lately. Mainly because I'm just more focused on selling and on getting more sales in.
yeah,
So with that being said, and the closing ratios on that have been really low, like I would say under 10%.
okay,
What I was thinking of doing that I wanted to ask you now that you understand the offer and everything is I was exploring switching my offer to because I understand that because my offer is performance based, I want that for most of my revenue to come from the performance, not from the revenue that we're collecting, not from the cash flow.
sure, sure.
So I was thinking to myself, okay, if I see me more as an investment banker that I'm celebrating because my assets under management are growing versus just the new sales or new clients that I have, my goal is to get as many agents wanting to work with me, spending as much ad spend as possible that can get me as much possible performance fees than just getting one new 5K client a month.
Yeah, yeah,
Just
that makes
anything
sense.
after that, right?
That makes sense. And so let me just repeat back. And by the way, what's up, everybody? Glad that
Hey guys.
y'all are here. Oswald will hop on first, so we're walking through a couple of his things first, and we'll get to everybody. Okay, so I want to make sure I understand like the question that you're asking. So right now,
Yeah.
you're finding it difficult to close people on this current offer that you have, which is 5K up front and then a 25% performance fee. And you're
Correct.
trying to figure out how do you increase those closing rates and focus most of the revenue that you get on the backside through the performance fee as opposed to like just whatever the monthly retainer is. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, so I don't have my biggest issue with money is that until they close or unless they close, I'm working for free. I don't have a monthly retainer.
Yeah.
I'm giving them the go high level for free. Let's say that they have a new house that they want to sell. I'll run the ads for that house and I'll build them a quick landing page for free as well because they already paid me a good chunk of money first selling that
Yeah.
partnership. So basically, to put it simple, let me just share with you my screen. So I want to
Yeah,
make
that
sure
would
that
be
everybody
super
gets their
helpful.
question. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
So currently, right, is 5K to start, 25%, let's just call it ROS. It's about 10% or under 10%. Oh shit. Under 10% closing ratio.
Mhm.
And then there's 0 MRR, right? But there's 5K.
Yeah.
I'm closing about, let's just say 1 to 3 deals per month.
Okay.
But most of these deals are not even on the 5K upfront. It's like some type of security deposit, and then we
Yeah.
plan on getting more into their stuff, right? So, but there's 0 MRR. I'm stressed out of my fucking mind every single month trying to
Sure.
put together either a new deal or whatever, stressing about payroll and all
Yeah.
that
No,
stuff.
that's fair.
Right?
Okay. So a couple of things quickly here.
Mhm.
So you have it's like 5K to get started. When you say 25% ROAS, that's 20. You're taking 25% of whatever the deal they close on the house, the commission that they
Yeah.
get once they do that. Like, where does that 25% come from?
Yes, correct. Whatever, whether it's somebody that's looking to sell their house once they sell the house, or if someone that's trying to buy or invest once they buy the house.
Okay. And so the 25% you get, I just want to make sure that I fully understand. The 25% you get is 25% of the commission that the realtor was going like that gets? Or okay, because I was
So-
going to imagine that if it's $1 million house, you're not getting 250 grand off that.
No, so out of the $1
That'd be
million
nice, though.
house, on average, yeah, very nice. On average, the agent will get 2.5%. So that's
Yep.
25 grand. Okay.
Okay.
Out of the 25 grand, there are two costs that we consider. Normally, they'll spend, let's just say, to make this easier, 20% with the broker. So with Sotheby's, Compass, whatever. So 25,000 times 0.2, that's 5K. So that's 5K. And let's say that they pay their own ad spend. So let's say that they spend 1K on ads. So their profit is 19K. I would take 25% of the 19.
Okay. That makes complete sense to me. And so right now, under 10% closing rate, what's your thought process of why that is?
My thought process on why that is one, the niche that I'm in. They're extremely skeptic in terms
Sure.
of getting started from, because they're, anything, especially with the price tag that we have. And all other factors could be that I'm just not doing enough outreach and everything, which is separate conversation for another day.
Sure,
Right now, we just want to
sure.
focus on the offer.
Yeah, I mean,
But with
I
the
wouldn't
people
say
that I'm presenting
outreach
is the
because it's like
price.
I'm more talking about people that you're already on the phone with, right? That's not an outreach thing. I'm presenting an offer. I've already got the appointment. Now it's time to
Yeah.
close or whatever else. And so I would agree with you that real estate tends to be one of the more, let's call it, skeptical areas of business when it comes to stuff like this. Can you write out, like, if I sign this today, what are the exact things that I get? Like, what's the offer?
So basically, what we're doing here, I'm just gonna show you. Wait. So this is what. How do I delete this? Okay, there you go. Can you see my screen? The brand agent thing.
Yep.
So this is what I'm doing for them. I'm doing some email marketing, reactivation campaigns, etc. I'm setting up their profiles nice in, Google My Business profile, social media, etc. Wherever they can find me, or I can find them.
Mhm.
I'm building them a sweet website, like a expensive looking website. And if we're running campaigns where we need a landing page, we do that, right? We run their ads, depending on the budget. That's where we run them for sellers, for buyers, retargeting. We manage their CRM through Go High Level, and we have ChatGPT integrated for the SMS
Yeah,
sequence, as the email, all that stuff, and then
Yeah.
we pass them over the lead to them. That's the offer.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty damn good offer. When people say no, like what's the reason for why they say? Because my thought process is either one of two things. Either the way that you pitch this is very overcomplicated, and is because
Yeah.
even just that one slide right there, like there's a lot going on right there, right? And somebody who's in real estate who's coming to you for the solution, they don't understand all this digital marketing shit. That's the reason why
Yeah.
they want to pay you in the first place. And so it's either you're way overcomplicating the pitch, they're not getting it, and then they're going, "Hey man, I actually need to think about it because you threw a lot at me," and then they just end up moving on with their lives. Something happens, whatever, for 1,000
Yeah.
reasons why people don't end up closing after they go through a pitch. Or it's, as you pitch this thing, they're just not understanding the value that you're giving them. It's either it's overcomplicated or the value that they want is not equivalent to the value that you pitch them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I would add the third one, which is the financial qualification of the upfront fee. They're
Yeah,
like,
sure.
"Hey, I'll give you ad spend, whatever, but I don't want to do the."
They don't want to
upfront
pay
thing."
for all that shit. They don't
Yeah,
want to pay for all that
especially
shit.
if it's 5K.
So then,
I am overcomplicating it too. But
yeah,
it's
I
also
would say
priced.
that. I would also say the second thing is, like, there are real estate agents who are kids that are fresh out of college who are just like trying to get something going because they think they can make a lot of money in it or whatever, versus
Yeah.
like established real estate agents, right? People who
That
have
one wouldn't
they've-
apply though.
Okay.
I'm pitching like people that have been in the
Okay.
industry for
How
a
do
while.
you qualify them? Like, what's the qualification?
The beautiful part about real estate is that all of the information is public. So I'm able to, before I even
Good.
hop on the call, I'm able to go into Zillow, look at the amount of deals that they're making. I ask them on the intro call, typically, how many transactions are you doing? What's the average price point from which
Yeah.
I can verify that? So I do that.
Yeah.
So that financial qualification from them hopping on the call with the people I'm currently speaking is not really the thing. Now, I am overcomplicating it, which can be another question for a separate call that we have. But I do think that I am being very short-sighted if all I'm trying to do is get a couple of extra, let's say that we improve my pitch, couple of extra large payments because whether they're not paying me anything up front or they're paying me 500 or 5,000, they'll spend about the same amount of ad spend, which is between 600 to 1,000 to start.
Yeah.
So if I'm making the big money on that commission, I think that I would rather get a shit ton, as many as I can, of those $600 budgets on a scalable way to increase my chances of getting
Yeah.
an MRR of 5K commission for one deal a
Sure.
month.
So then why not do two things? Because I think that the overcomplicating the pitch thing and the price point thing are two separate problems, but I think they work together, right? Because if you overcomplicate the pitch, it does not matter what the price point is. Like it's irrelevant to that because it could be $500, but if I still don't get it and I still don't understand the value, there's no reason for me to buy that thing in the first place. And so I think that like just on the side of the pitch, I would look for three pillars, right? What are three things that you can do that you can help solve for people? And you pitch it super easy. Here's the problem that most of our clients have. Here's how we solve it. And here's what that means for you. So I'm just going to do this real estate as an example. So what we find for most of our clients is that there's a ton of real estate agents and nobody knows who they are. So what we do is we create a sphere of influence. And what that means for you is that every single person in your area over the next 30, 60, 90 days who's looking for a house is going to see you, know you, and like you. And like that could be one part of the pitch, right? Super simple, super succinct, something they can understand that's focused on the outcome and the benefit for them. So that's what I would say for like that side. And then secondarily, if it comes to pricing and you're worried about the pricing, well, then just drop the fucking price and see if people still do it, right? Like go from 5K. And if you're closing 10% at 5K, then I'd imagine if you drop that price down and price is actually the objection, because price might not be the objection. And right now you might be finding that people close at a low rate and you think it's because of the price, but it's actually the pitching process or something else in that process. Drop it down. And if you drop your price down and people just start closing like crazy, okay, it was a price issue. But if you drop your price down, but you don't change your pitch and the closing rate stays exactly the same, then it's not a price thing, right? And so if what you're telling me is that you want to focus on an agency that makes most of its money you want as many realtors in your wheelhouse as possible, and you make most of your retention or your money on the back end, then just lower your front end price, make it $2,500 or whatever to get started. Granted, you can deliver this service for still a profitable price. I wouldn't do anything less than 50% of whatever your margin is. So if it costs you $1,000, no cheaper than $2,000 to service it. So at least you double up on the front end if they don't close any deals, which may happen, may not happen, whatever else. And then keep that 25% on the backside, right? And so the way I'd pitch it is I would really like reduce the amount of friction and complication inside of that pitch. Go, hey, we used to charge $5,000 for this, but like our moral as a company or our value as an agency is that we want to help as many agents brand themselves as possible and stick out in this very competitive world of real estate. So we dropped it down to $2,500 for this introductory offer that we're doing right now, and go that route, right? And so if you bring down the complication level of the pitch, bring down the price on the front end, I would imagine that solves your closing problem. And if it doesn't, well, then we have some other issues out there. But those are the two biggest things that kind of glare at me, if that makes sense.
No, it makes perfect sense. I love what you're saying. Would you recommend me A/B test the shit by doing the same sales process and just changing the price to see the response? Or should I just try to improve both and just fucking see if I just start making more money?
My intuition tells me it's the pitch, not the price, because I know plenty of people who run agencies that work with people that charge $5,000 for realtors, and for the value that you are providing. Granted, you are talking with an audience who is already established. You provide the right value for that. Like for all the shit that you're doing, that's totally worth $5,000. And so my intuition tells me it's the pitch. So if you're going to do an A/B testing, I would change the pitch, keep the price. But what you told me earlier, the reason I even talked about the price thing is that you told me that like I want to bring down the MR, like I want to bring down the amount of upfront cost and focus more on that time on the back end. Not something that I necessarily would agree with, because I'd rather get paid more upfront. So that way I can focus on less clients, but still make the same amount of money. So that way each individual client gets more, resources, time, energy into them. So each result that you get for each individual client is higher as a product of having more time and energy for them. But if you're going to go an A/B test route, I would keep the price the same, change the pitch. And then if you change the pitch and it doesn't work, then I would lower the price. But that's how I would approach it personally.
Is there any resource you could point me towards to see what a solid sample of a better sales process or a more streamlined pitch could look like? that I can work on?
I have a ton of information on that just of shit that I've done and built myself, of having to go through 100 different sales processes to figure that out. It's not something that I have like available for the public as of right now, because I'm still putting together the course and whatever else. But it is something that I'm happy to like walk through. Obviously we have other people here, so I want to get through some other questions.
Of course.
And it's certainly something that I'm happy to walk through on an additional call, or point you to the information that I'm putting together once it's all ready for anybody to get into it. And I hope that's appropriate.
No, I love that. So I just wanted to get a final piece of context here to get your final suggestion here. The reason I agree completely in general with the mindset of, hey, rather get paid more, fewer clients, more quality. If it's e-commerce or if it's any other brand. With real estate, no matter how much money we spend with them, they're gonna max out at 2 or 3 deals a month. They're just time-wise, everything. So it's gonna be the same or similar effort for me to just double down and go in like in one person or in 3. So that's one of the thought process that I can just get more deals. And then my concern is the MRR, the non-existent MRR, for which I believe that if I'm charging the 5K, I'm promising all of this stuff and the CRM for free and all of that for free, I have no MRR. If now I've been testing this for 2 weeks, just literally just fucked it, lower the price to 500, which is like the least reasonable thing that I can think of.
Sure.
My closing rate is like, from the people that I've spoken to over the last 2 weeks, it's like 40% now, because it's reasonable. But I'm charging $50 per user for Go High Level. If they want a landing page, I'm planning on charging like $97. So if they want social media management, I'll just do something simple for them for $500. So basically, they'll pay me the same commission-wise, more clients, and I'll get $500 a pop from each person, lifetime recurring.
Yeah,
I might be able to launch a
that's
school and everything later.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's more of almost like a SaaS play necessarily than just an agency play, but that's super interesting. So let me think some more on that, because that is it's got my gears spinning, but I want to get some other people. So I appreciate.
I appreciate your feedback, man. It's you got me thinking, and definitely you open up my eyes, because it's an ego thing on the pitch, because I've been doing it like that for so long.
Sure.
But I gotta fix something. I got 3 verses.
No, it's all good.
You, man.
Yeah, man. So what's up? Who's next? Anybody? What's up, everybody? Ahmed, it's nice to meet you. And I'm going to try to say your name right, but I know I'm going to get it wrong. Mundin? Did I say that right? I can't hear you. I think it might be muted or something. Or you might not have a mic.
He's muted.
It's all good. Well, if you figure that out, you can tell me how to say your name right, so I don't look like a jackass. All right, Ahmed. What's up, man? How you doing?
Oh, good. How about you? How's everything going on?
I'm chilling, bro. Texas isn't hot, and the Grizzlies won last night, so I'm feeling good.
All good. Alrighty. I like your email that I received that I gave you $100. Like, it's a very good. Boy,
Come on with it.
Yeah, it's not about the $100. I mean, like the approach itself, it's very nice.
Yeah.
Like, it got my attention. So
there we go. Did his job.
I have a specific problem that I need help with. It's more of advice. So I had an agency before between me and one of my partners, and we crashed at some point after we grew to like 30K or something, and then we split it up, and then I decided to start over again. I learned from my mistakes over there because we were like doing low quality shit sometimes. We doing everything ourselves. So when I started again, I wanted to build a good team. So what I decided to do is I want to partner with someone who's good at SEO, and I want to partner with someone who's good at media buying, where I'm good at getting clients, so I can do outreach. I can talk to people. I'm very good at sales. I can close. So I got I split 50% with the SEO guy, and I get him SEO clients. I split 50-50 with the media buyer guy, where I get him clients, but I need Google people who actually deliver. So I managed to crack in the SEO part, and I have a good partner who's actually delivering. But I'm very struggling on the other side with the media buying shit. How you build a good team around you that can really build a very good fundamentals to scale and go up. Like, I built these SOPs and stuff, but people are not invested, or they are like just know basic shit. And I want to know more from from the from your perspective, the agency is more of a labor stuff. Like you need people as you scale. So how you really build this good people stuff where you can really scale it up?
Yeah, so just I'm going to reiterate to make sure that I understand the question. So the question is, right now you and this is maybe where I need some clarification here. So you own the agency, or you are 50-50 partners now with the SEO guy, and you're going to be 50-50 partners with the media buyer guy, or are you the owner and they're your employees?
So I'm the owner. I'm a
Okay.
50-50 on the revenue side that comes from SEO with the SEO guy. I'm
Okay.
50-50 with the guy who does the media buying for any revenue coming from media buying.
Okay.
Why
So
I
let me
want-
just let me
Go ahead.
just I just want to cut you off to make sure I understand this. So you own the agency, you close the clients, you split the monthly retainer or whatever else it is with the person who's doing the actual labor. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's accurate. That's it. And
Okay.
I'm doing that because when you hire employees, they are not really invested. They are
Sure.
like,
Where do you hire from and how much do you pay?
so like back then when we crashed, we used to hire virtually. We used to pay as a starting point of 2K to 3K, but we hire, it's not about, we hire, I used to live in Dubai, now I'm in Egypt. So I hired from Egypt. I hired one guy from UK, was 4K salary. But for now, at this exact point, I'm in Egypt. I'm trying to hire here because people are affordable. But it's not about the money because I have like 2, 3 clients I'm running ads for on 3K retainer. So whoever coming in will be splitting, getting like 2, 3K right away. So,
Yeah.
and as he takes this shit out of me, I'll be able to get more clients and we can grow it. Because
Yeah, I
I
mean,
can't deliver and focus on lead generation. Like I can't do
yeah.
both.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing for like getting people to give a fuck inside of your company, which is probably the easiest way to say this, how do I hire people that actually want to come in and work and do good work and get good results and want to you have to give them some sort of incentivization structure to not only like join the company but want to stay, right? And that incentivization can mean a lot of things, right? It can be pay. Hey, if you're hitting a certain, goal for these, like what we would do is we would have whenever we would sign a client, we would establish what's your North Star, what's like the main KPI that we're going for. Is it, hey, I want a 4x ROAS? Is it, hey, I want an acquisition cost of under $100 or whatever? I establish that with the client, and then who's ever running the account, who's ever responsible for the deliverables, I just tell that person, hey, the goal for this client is to get a CPA of $100 or a ROAS of a 4 or whatever. And if you hit that, I'm going to give you a bonus on top of whatever your pay is. If you don't hit that, you get your pay. But if you hit that, you get a bonus. And then if you exceed that, if you go above that goal, I'll give you even higher like bonus incentivization structure or whatever. And so I'm a huge believer in aligning incentives between what the client wants and needs and what the actual person who's doing the labor on. Like you should align it as an agency, but you should also align it with the person who is delivering that final product, right? And so incentivization on that side. And then secondarily, you've also got to have the structures, processes, everything, so you can plug somebody in day one and they can immediately go, I know exactly what to do. I've got training for it. I've got processes that I can follow. If you throw people in and they're having to guess and figure out what to do or whatever else, the difficult thing with media buyers specifically, if you are not like a media buyer yourself, it's hard to know if a media buyer is any fucking good. It's hard to know, like, but then besides like getting them in there, letting them run the campaign and shit the bed, right? Then your client's all pissed off. You lose the money. You got to deal with the client fire, all that kind of shit. And so what was helpful for me is I was partnered with somebody who's been a media buyer for 10 years, and we were 50-50 partners on the agency itself. And so I had somebody who could come in, look at a media buyer and go, yes, these campaigns are set up right, or they're not set up right. And so you can either find somebody to bring in who knows how to do this stuff already, or you can learn that shit yourself. You can go, hey, like if it's a service that I'm a huge believer that if it's a service that you offer, you should understand like the nitty gritty of how that stuff works. So that way you can go, is this person actually good for the job? Can they actually do it? And then obviously have those processes in place. And then finally, outside of an incentivization for just money, like what's their growth trajectory look like inside of your agency? Because if it's just like, hey, I'm going to hire somebody, I'm going to pay you $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month, you'll get a little bonus if you're good. Yeah, that'll have somebody stick around for 6 or 12 or 18 months or whatever until they figure out the next thing that they want to do or some other opportunity that's better. And so in a market where there's tons of people out there applying for jobs and tons of people who are going online, learning these services, learning how to do these skills or whatever else, you have to have a reason why they're going to stick with you outside of just the money, which can look like, hey, I'm going to help you. Like what worked really well for us is we had people who were media buyers who would come in and they want to have their own agency one day, right? And so I'll go, hey, cool. Not only will I pay you, not only will I give you a bonus structure, I will also work with you once a week to show you all the shit that I'm doing inside of our agency. I'm going to show you how I'm getting clients. I'm going to show you how I'm doing this. And a lot of people go, oh, well, I don't want them to leave and start their own competing agency. That only matters if you're a pussy and you suck at sales. Like, I'm just going to be transparent here. If you're good at sales, you shouldn't worry about other competition because there's plenty of other people out there. There's always going to be other agencies out there or whatever else. And so I guess to kind of summarize here, get an incentive structure that's aligned from a monetary perspective with whatever the client is trying to achieve. Have great resources and SOPs and practices in place that they can plug in day one. And then number 3, give them some reason to stick around outside of just the money, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. It does make sense so much. I'm good into media buying, but I can't say I'm a good one. I understand everything.
Yeah.
I can't tell if this guy's good or bad and stuff because my ex-partner on the agency he's taking care of that part actually. So yeah, it makes sense. So my only pain point now is actually the SOPs where I can plug someone in. And here on, I made SOPs for specific things that I did, but I wanted the media buyer to make his own SOPs. That's why I said,
it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult for an employee to do that. What I would recommend is
he's not an employee. He's a partner. He's a partner.
Yeah, well, he's acting. He's a partner in name, but he's acting like an employee. So we're going to call him one. So no shade, no offense, whatever. It's just people's actions are reveal a whole lot more than what they say about themselves. So what I would do is I would go find somebody who's a killer media buyer in the niche of whatever you do, whatever kind of clients you serve. And I would pay that person and I would say, hey, let me pay you for an hour of your time to walk through what I should be doing. I'm going to document this entire conversation and then I'm going to turn it into internal SOPs. How much do you want for that? And find somebody that can do that and just have them do that shit for you. And just walk right through it. That's what I would do.
That's a good way as well that I should explore.
Yep.
Thank you. That's really helpful.
Yeah, man. Happy to help. All right. Sam, T, and you got to tell me how to say your name, man, because I'm going to keep fucking this up. All right. You are muted this time. All right, how do you say your name?
Moinuddin.
Okay, yeah, I totally fucked that up. Yeah, Moinuddin. Well, it's nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, man. All right, who's got a question? Got about 25 more minutes.
So I got we used to do web designs a bit. We are not that much into web media buying stuff like that. So we used to do web designs. Now we used to mostly work with USA clients as white label partners. So now we are seeing lots of things. Lots of depths in the orders, and some clients partners are moving away and they're having their own team, maybe because it's more profitable or it's more competitive. So we are getting into media buying a bit, and I have learned a bit of myself, but whenever I tried doing media buying myself, it has been the client just went away after 15 days, 20 days. So I might have bad structure, might have bad results or whatever.
Sure.
So I just got an old client who in California who just wants to start off with solar campaign. And obviously I don't have much testimonials to show him off. So I did a DD structure where I did some on performance basis. So I got just $500 to start off with the to cover the the setup, the CRM, another $200, and then with every appointment, that is a KPI that is set. So every appointments I will charge $50, but appointments again are not something totally completely upon me. The sales team have to do the appointment from the leads that I'm getting. So now the thing is I'm actually thinking of hiring a media buyer, but $500 I cannot do much. So I have to go for substandard kind of media buyers, or go for scout or somewhere. Or the other option is go and find out some websites, with Go High Level coming up with Uphex, Apply, or something like that, and use those kind of funnels and use those kind of templated designs to run Facebook ads. Because I just I just want to think like what is the best way forward to from now here. Even I am okay with losing, spending some money to from my pocket to get it on the right footing, because at the end back end we are developing some voice bots and experimenting with voice bots, and I think that is something which I want to pitch the solar companies and get some get that part rolling. But if I can plug into those voice bot into the lead generation process, then it can become something substantial and something very
Yeah, for
useful.
sure.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
so yeah, that's like I just before I get to
Yeah,
the
I
call.
mean, ultimately, man, like my I have two thought process here. Number one, it's like I don't know why you stopped selling website services if you've already built tons of websites and got tons of clients. I know you're saying some people want to do it internally or like because it's more profitable, or whatever, which is true. There are tons of people who have their own internal website people, but there are tons of people who never want to pay for a website. Like they never want to hire somebody for that. They'd much rather pay. And I don't know what you are charging for this, $500,000, $2,000, $5,000 for a website service. So I would say if that's something that you already have a ton of results for and you've already done a lot for, whatever, you have examples of websites, like don't cut off the thing that like built what you got to in the first place. Look at media buying as an additional opportunity you can add on to it, which is great, right? But if you're, and so that's my first point, right? It's like I would not stop selling websites because you have a ton of history doing that, and that's something that's always going to be needed, and you have the experience for it. Number two, on the media buying side of things, if you're going to be charging $500, whatever for a service like this, I would not go hire a media buyer. Much like the problem that Ahmed is talking about, you're going to have to hire in crappy talent who you're not going to be able to know for sure if they're doing good or not. And so if you're going to add a new service onto your agency, you should know how to do that service yourself. Otherwise, you're going to run into problems like Ahmed's running into, which is he can sell the client, which is great. But then it's like, how do I know if this person's doing any good? Who do I bring in? Am I going to pay this guy $4,000 a month and he's going to suck ass? Like it's not even worth that thing. So if you're going to add a new service, I'd say go find some courses or go find some information, learn it yourself with this new solar person. Like if I were you, I would be running that campaign so I understand like what can happen there. And then once you've proven that with this thing, you can get your own results for it. Now it makes sense to go, okay, cool. Let me bring in somebody who can shadow me. I can show them how I'm doing it. And I have the ability to know whether or not they're actually worth the fuck. That makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah. So
Cool.
I'm not actually, cutting off the website selling, but yeah, it has got a little bit competitive. I don't know, like since few months, like we maybe have to do our own sales, approach our own sales process for websites. Like maybe we have to think harder how we can sell websites much better than what we used to do. Like, so I think like you are right with we're not actually stopping it, but as the orders are not coming in, we are thinking of like what exactly is happening in the market and how we can be go into and find.
And I don't mean to cut you off, but especially what you said earlier was that you're like a white label person, right? Which means somebody comes to you with the deal, you just perform the actual labor itself. So now if you want to sell more of that service, you have to become like the acquisition process. You have to go out there and source your own leads and get your own deals and all those kind of things, right? And so if I were you, instead of focusing on how do I add this whole new service to my agency that I don't have a ton of experience with, I would just focus on how do I add a sales component onto the thing that I already do really well, which is make websites.
Yeah, thank you. That's helps.
Happy to help, dude. What's up, Sam and T? I don't know if you go by Sam or Samuel, so I'm just going with Sam because I got Alexander here and it's Alex, so whatever.
What's good, man?
What's up, T? How's it been?
It's been all right. I didn't manage to join last week because I went to the gym pretty
All
late
good, brother.
because it's about
All good,
8
brother.
p.m. here for me. So
Nice.
yeah.
You been slinging those graphic
what's going
packages,
on with
those
you?
branding packages yet?
Hey,
I say you've been slinging those branding packages we've been talking about yet?
unfortunately not, because there's a lot of sort of sales funnel sort of work that needs to be done still before I'm still emailing and doing outreach, but still no one's replied. But I think I'm split between doing DMs here and there and doing emails. The reason I switched to emails is because the sort of culture over in the UK is emails. People don't really
Cool.
like to receive DMs, and most people, it just goes Instagram has the settings for hiding new messages. Most people
Yep.
don't even see them anyway.
Yep.
So unless I'm doing like crazy amount of volume on Instagram,
for sure.
It's not really going to reach people. But I also realized that there is an issue with my email service provider, so most of my emails aren't even going through. So I'm sort of like between going back and forth with them, trying to figure this out.
Yeah.
So that's that.
Fix the email problem and just focus on that. Don't do both. Just focus on one. I'm gonna send you.
Yeah.
There's a guy who I'm friends with here in Dallas who is
Okay.
the fucking man when it comes to cold email. I'll share his X profile with you. But there's where is this thing? Where the there is a service that will. It's a SaaS company that's made for cold email that will help with Smart Lead. Do you use Smart Lead? Hold on.
It's just me just typing up the emails and sending them
Yeah,
out.
you should use Smart Lead. It's a here, I'll drop in here. Use this, it'll help with your deliverability issues.
Okay.
There you go. Use that, set everything up through there. They make it super simple. Like their whole thing is built around that. And I've used it for some of my own campaigns with one of our agencies, so I know it's good. So that's good. And then I'll drop this. This is my buddy in Dallas who is the fucking man when it comes to cold email. So I would highly recommend checking out his shit. There you go.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Nice. Outreach is good. Cool. Yeah, so I do that on that side. Any other things that you're working through right now?
Nothing really. It's just the thing of trying to get my first client now.
Nice. We'll keep plugging at it, man.
Oh, one question, sorry. If I'm going to run some paid ads soon, what would be the best conversion how would I structure my paid ad to get the most conversions or the most qualified leads? Would that be a showcase of our work or something which is very like call to action?
Here's my advice to you specifically in your issue. Do not run paid ads until you close 3 to 5 people on your current services.
Okay.
Focus on free cold outreach until you get to the point where because your offer is not proven yet. Like you haven't closed
Right.
it. So until you do that, there's no reason for you to put money into outreach when you can do free outreach methods. So if
Okay.
I were you, I would focus most of my time on like learning how do I do cold email well enough that I can get people to book appointments. And once you get the appointments, focus on your sales process. Once you've got people closed, you got money coming in, then we can talk about paid ads. But right now, I think that's just jumping the gun for you specifically.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yep. Cool. Sam, what's up, man?
What's up, Alex?
You
How
look
you
good
doing,
today.
dude?
You got the collared shirt on and everything, dude. You must be busting out sales calls.
Yeah, dude. Thanks. So I don't really have like a ton of specific questions. I more just kind of wanted to sit in because I saw the email and
Yeah.
stuff. I've been like implementing the stuff that we chatted with the last time we talked. I just had 2 questions. One's kind of about agency stuff, and then the other's just about other thing. But like,
Cool.
so I know like when you guys were at like max scale, dude, like just margin wise, tell me like what you look for, because me like the next phase, I'm like wondering what's the target margin I should still be looking at, just because obviously like this is gonna be the first time that my margin's kind of like going to dip, right? Building on more teams and stuff as it goes. But like, let's say if you're at 100K a month, like what would you say is like the expected margin you'd want to be at?
Yep. Okay. So I have inside of the group. Where's this right here? Okay. So if you come inside of the group right here, so inside of here, in classroom, agency audit, down here, there's this audit worksheet. This right here is most likely what you're looking for, right? So I'm typically looking for the cost of delivery of the service to be about 25%. I'm looking for my acquisition cost to be between 15 and 20%. My operational expense, so overhead, whatever, 5 to 10%, and then profit margin 50%. That's what I'm going for. And so if any of those and you know, sometimes people have a little bit higher acquisition costs, a little bit lower delivery costs, but ultimately what I'm looking for is I want 50% of every dollar that comes in, straight profit.
Right. Okay. And like, this might be crazy, but do you think that if your margin's above that you should try and improve or like invest more into that until it reaches about a 50% margin, or is like just a minimum of 50% you want? If you have 70%, that's better.
Yes, I want it to be as high as humanly possible, obviously.
Right.
But I would say once you're dipping below 50%, that's when I'm like, okay, let's look at how much does it cost to deliver, how much does it cost to acquire. Let's figure out our OpEx, whatever.
Cool.
And then we'll do that. So for me, the big mistake that I made was I spent all our money on fucking OpEx. We had a fancy office and all these employees that were in person,
Okay.
just shit that was way too much. And so that was our big mistake. So just if you keep it super lean, and I'm going to imagine right now your margins are probably higher than that. They're probably like 70, 80%, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as you like scale your paid ad spend, your acquisition per client is going to be more expensive. So that's probably where
Right.
you'll see some of that. So just right now, I would say keep whatever your costs are to deliver, your operational expense, your employee headcount, all that stuff. Keep that within whatever ratio you're currently working at, and then just try to make sure your acquisition cost doesn't go too crazy. I think
Okay.
for you specifically, because you're in a very like the thing that's interesting about your agency is you're in a very interesting niche that like not a lot of other people are going after, which is super smart. And so I
Yeah.
think that as long as you're, well, I mean, I'm sure there's other competitors in the space, obviously, but like most agencies are not going after
Right.
the type of client that you are, which gives you a lot more, I guess, uniqueness in the market. So your acquisition costs may stay low, but you never know. As you scale spend, it's just a fluctuation in how effective
Totally,
each
yeah.
individual dollar is going to be, right? So.
Okay, cool. And then I just had another question. Tell me, like, I don't know if we were just talking about agency stuff today, but like, how specifically,
Whatever you want.
like right now, or even when you were like operating, like running the company and stuff, you mentioned when it was like at max capacity, like how did you like structure your day, like to just get the maximum output out of yourself specifically?
Yeah, man. It depends on this depends on what your primary function inside the agency is. And so from what I
Right.
understand for you, it's like sales, right?
Yeah,
Like
driving
you're the guy
revenue, yeah.
bringing the money in. Yeah. Okay. And so then my second follow-up question to that is how much time do you plan or want or have to spend on like client side, delivery side, whatever?
Like right now?
Mhm.
Like I'd say it's probably like depending on the week, like maybe like 15 hours a week-ish, 20 hours a week. Like it's nothing ridiculous.
Okay. Yeah. And so then how many total hours do you plan to work in a week?
Like I'm cool with working like right now, I'm cool with doing like 8 to 10 hour days, like 7 days a week. Like that's
Okay.
not a huge issue.
Okay, well, hey, that's good. I like that. Okay, so you're doing that 15 to 20 hours. So we could probably say relatively, it's like 25% of your time is probably spent on client stuff.
Right.
Okay, cool. I'll walk you through because mine was pretty similar for that. So
Sure.
I would just have like my mornings. I get up, I go straight to the office, right, and that's when I would do all of like lead outreach, like specifics, anything that's me sitting down in front of a computer reaching out to people through text. And so if that's emails to new leads, if that's text to the calls that I have that day, if it's going through and following up with old people, whatever that looks like, I would do that. Then I would spend the rest of the morning on primarily sales calls. And so because that for me was the highest leverage activity that I had.
Right.
So I want to make sure I do my follow-up, make sure I do my outreach. Then I spend the rest of the day doing sales calls, whatever on that side. And then I would leave a couple of hours at the end of each day for whatever sort of clients meetings that I would have, or like if somebody on the team had questions about client stuff, then I would do that. And then I would usually end the day by going to the gym, trying to blow off some fucking steam, then getting a good night's rest, trying not to smoke pot, and then going to bed. So that was pretty much my routine. So yeah, man, I guess from an hours perspective, it was usually like 8 to 10 follow-up, 10 to 4 was primarily sales, 4 to 6 was client work or meetings. Usually I had one client call every day at like 4 o'clock, and then from 5 to 6, I'd work on whatever kind of deliverable stuff I have to do. And then it's just, take some time to try to reset and get ready for the next day. And then typically I would spend Saturdays building out whatever sort of like SOPs or trainings or resources or stuff like that, anything for the company specifically. And then Sunday was mostly just get ready for the week, try to relax a little bit. And then, yeah, I'd highly recommend having at least one day a week where you don't do more than an hour of work, just because you'll have over time, if you don't build that in for yourself, you will never get it. And you will eventually get to the point where you're like, I fucking do not want to do this anymore. And so make it a habit now. That was certainly one of the things that I think that I made a big mistake on was I'm like, I'm just going to work all day, every day. Then I did that for 4 years. And then I was like, I hate this company. Please let's sell this thing and get out of it. So yeah, so I would say that was what I did. And it worked for me for the most part.
Okay, cool. Awesome. And then if you like when you look and see like there are certain things like on your day task that you could get rid of and then free up extra time. Like, cause there's certain things where it's like, I could have someone on the team do it or something and they would free up extra time, but then like, I just have extra time during the day. Would you do that and then just get like that extra time and then figure out something else to do with it? Or would you just keep it there and not actually outsource it?
if somebody else can do it and it's not your highest leverage task, which for you,
Yeah.
highest leverage task is
Have them
follow
do
up, outreach, sales, whatever, get
Yeah.
it to somebody else, then fill that
Okay.
hour with more time making money.
Okay, cool. Sounds good.
Yep, that's what I would do. No reason for, and especially like, granted the person can do the work well and can do it right or whatever.
Right.
You might have obviously the loop where they do it a couple of times and then you got to make sure that it's actually good or whatever. You follow up on the backside of that. But
Yeah.
yeah, man, if it's not your highest leverage activity, give it to somebody else.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah, cool. Appreciate that.
Hell yeah. Nice. Matt, anything for you? T, anything for you before we wrap up here?
I have a quick one here.
What's
I'm
up,
running
man?
an opt-in page that's not performing so well. Any tips about an opt-in page?
Yeah, let me see. Share the screen. Let me see the opt-in page.
Okay. You're putting me on the spot.
Hey, man, you asked me. I didn't ask you.
I'm just kidding.
You said, give me tips. on
I
opt-in
just
page.
started it
Well, I
yesterday,
gotta see
actually.
it.
I
I
just
gotta
put
see
it
it.
today, so no, like I wasn't rushed. I put it
It's
yesterday.
okay, man. I'm not going to judge you.
No,
That's
it's
it.
even,
Stealthagents.com, huh?
yep,
I'm going to bring it up myself, too.
it's outsourced.
Stealthagents.com. And you say the opt-in page is not performing by what metric?
Yeah, I was running the traffic directly to the VSL, for a while, but then I decided to add the opt-in page. I just added the opt-in page yesterday, but no, I don't think, like, I did it in a rush, so I wanted to get like some feedback. With YouTube, I'm running YouTube ads for him now. I just excluded the external sites yesterday because I was getting too much clicks and not of a conversion because external sites are shit. I excluded it from the placement yesterday, and now I started to get the reasonable clicks because my CDR was 5%, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I excluded all that shit and stuff, and now I think it's low. So I wanted to get feedback before I make like my judgments and stuff.
Okay, so you're running because I went to stealthagents.com and it's different than this page. This is stealthagents.com/opt-in, which like you click and it says watch video or whatever.
Yeah, that would take you to the VSL.
Okay, so you're saying you
Not
were
sending the
running to
traffic
this.
I'm not
You
sending
were running
traffic
to this,
the
but
homepage.
now you're sending traffic to the homepage?
No. I'm not sending traffic to the homepage.
Okay. So you
I
were
would-
sending it to the homepage and now you're sending it to this VSL page? Okay. I got to make sure I understand.
So I used to send it directly to the VSL page, directly to the VSL page, not to the homepage, right? But that one wasn't converting well before I exclude the traffic and stuff. Then I added the opt-in page. But I may be gonna test it again to send directly to the VSL page. But I had a lot of bad traffic in the beginning with this external sites. So I want to get, regardless of how it performs, I want to just get the insights about the opt-in page itself.
Okay. Can I give you my honest feedback?
Yeah, tell me shit.
I
what to improve.
I would absolutely run traffic to the homepage. That is by far the best looking page for somebody who is brand new to your funnel, never heard of your company before, completely cold top of funnel prospect. Because you got to think, most people are like, here's my issue with VSLs. VSLs are great. Like, they can make a huge impact. But if you force me to watch your fucking VSL and give you my email to learn about your company, I'm not fucking doing it. I'm moving on with my life. There are a million other people who sell VA services. So don't force me to watch your shit. I will consume it at the time that I want to consume it. And so I think the VSL on this page, fucking phenomenal. Don't make somebody give you their email to watch that shit, because at this point they have no idea what you do. They don't know anything about that shit. So if I'm you, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run all my traffic to this fucking homepage. And then at the with this button that says get started, I'm going to make that scroll down to the bottom where I have an opt-in. Don't put the opt-in on a second page because you always lose a percentage of people from one page to the next. Make this super simple for them. Make it opt-in, and then they can go through whatever process they want on the backside, but at least you captured that lead, and then they can go to the sales team. They can do whatever they want. So send the traffic here, put the opt-in on the bottom, make it super simple for somebody to give you their information if they want to learn more about this. But I also see you have a pricing, so if they want to go ahead and buy, they can fucking do that shit too. I just don't make people jump through hoops to learn more about your company is my takeaway. I think that all these fucking funnels where you make somebody opt in for a VSL or whatever. I guess it works sometimes in the like course info space or whatever else, but like you're not talking to that audience. You were talking to like you are looking for people who need to save time, delegate tasks, and reduce stress with virtual assistants. These are busy motherfuckers. Like they ain't got time for your fucking VSL, bro. Like just give them the info and let them opt in if they want. That's what I would do. And then for the people who visit the page, I would retarget them with a VSL and say, hey, I saw that you were learning more, like you were looking at our services. We put together a quick 3 to 5 minute video that walks through all this thing if you're interested in learning more. That's great for people who are already interested, but for top of funnel prospects who are busy because that's the audience you're going after, they don't need this shit. Don't make them do it.
Perfect. Great feedback, man. Thank you. What my process is, I actually was planning to do the exact opposite, where I send them to the opt-in page. If they opt in, that's fine. If not, I'm retargeting them to the home page because we have a lot of activities and testimonials and stuff on the home page. So that's what I was thinking. Also, I'm retargeting the SEO, anybody who visited price pages and any other like pages that's on the SEO side, high intent. And also, I'm retargeting everyone to the VSL if they already opted in, sending them directly to the VSL. I was going 3 ways, but what you said,
I would just make it super simple, man. Top of funnel traffic to the homepage, retargeting to a piece of information that's going to sell them on why they should use this thing, which in your case is the VSL. And keep in mind that everybody who clicks is going to get your top of funnel ads again. Like they're going to continue to be in the funnel of like Meta's going to keep showing it to them because obviously they clicked on it the first time.
I'm running
so they'll get,
You're running Meta.
Okay. Well, whatever you're running on, they're still going to get some of that stuff too. And so, I would top of funnel.
Which campaign type would you use on Google to retarget? Would you use BMax or you will use display or just YouTube remarketing?
I would probably do a little bit of both. I test both and see what wins. The truth of the matter is you're never going to know until you test both of them.
Yeah, okay. I sort of going with BMax because it's going to give me the best out of all worlds. But I need to test and see.
Yeah, you just have to test both of them. I wish there was a better answer, but it's the most marketer answer in the world, which is I'd love to tell you one or the other, but you're going to have to test both, and whichever one the data says, the one the data says. So
yeah. No, we just getting started and the client is happy, so everything is going well.
Hey, that's good. That's good. That's good that they're happy.
Feedback. I like to hear like feedback.
Yeah, man, for sure.
Appreciate it.
Well, coming up on 3:00, so I appreciate all you guys for hopping in, letting me talk some shit and use a lot of profanity to talk about your agencies. It's a lot of fun. So if you have any questions, anything I can help you with, send me a message and I will do my best.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, man. Thank you again.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Peace.